Okay, I'm discussing my aims for the year, which I've written down, so I'm going to be using a bit of a prompter here. First of all, I've started with, this year I want to work on the personal aspects of my work. This I referenced in my last video. Basically, I make a lot of work that is personal about me, which is fine, and I think that's just how my practice is. There really isn't any need for me to try and make it into something it's not, because that's why I make art. I make art to explore everything that's going on in my head, all my feelings, experiences, emotions, etc. So, I'm fine with this is perfectly fine, but I just need to work on the execution of the thing. Yeah, I was talking about the balance between exploring an idea that can be relatable to a viewer and isolating an audience, especially regarding my willingness to tackle a subject head on. With my chair piece, I was unwilling to really put myself out there, and I think I've kind of overcome that a lot more now. I think it's because it's my final year of uni, so it's like now or never, you know, and a lot of the people who see this I'm never going to see again, so who cares what they think of me, to be honest. Secondly, I want to improve my concept development. Previously I've been intimidated by my peers and the complexities of their work, which in turn led me to jump head on into a complex idea that cannot develop and often leaves me dry and needing to change. This is true. I'll often kind of skip steps 1 and 2, go straight to 3, and this means I can't develop it because it's already at that final point, but then my physical needs developing, blah blah blah. Basically, I think too much, think too far ahead, and I think about the end piece rather than just thinking about each stage as its own end piece and then developing from that, if you know what I mean. So basically my ideas are to work in small projects and then develop these small projects. Think small, and also I'm just going to take a basic concept this year and work with something completely basic and completely stripped down, very small. Even if it sounds boring, I think it will develop into something that is less boring. Touch wood. But yeah, that's what I'm going. That's my second aim. And yeah, also because this worked quite well for me in first year, I made something based on, I wasn't sleeping, so I made work based on that. And last year, because I was experimenting around all over the place, I wasn't very focused, and I think that's partially because my concept was a bit too complicated and at the same time just didn't really make much sense in a wider context. So yes, that is my third aim. That's aim number 3. Process. Yeah. I've been quite intimidated by different processes over the last few years, especially because in school they coach you, they tell you need to do this, 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 and they take you through everything. Now, real world, people aren't so... they don't hold your hand, and I've been wanting to try different things. Not all of them involve other people, but I've just been a bit afraid to try new things because I'm a bit nervous. So this year, again, final year, got to really push out the boat. So first of all, I want to say on camera that if I need to go to the workshop, I will. I often need to go, avoid it, basically do anything to avoid going into the workshop. However, it's not a general thing that I might need to do, it's just if I was. I also want to do some things with photography because I used to be very into photography and I used to be quite good, and I'm thinking if there's a way for me to combine sculpture and photography, I think my practice could really benefit from that, because sometimes I struggle with how to present my work in final setting, which I think photography could be quite an interesting way to work with that. And I think taking two things that I'm strong at with language as well as my supporting work could be quite beneficial for my practice in general, and it seems to make sense. I mean, as I've said before, I like the physicality of making work, and I do also like the physicality of the audience interacting with the work, but I'm also willing to adapt and not just get stuck into doing things just because I'm comfortable or doing things just because I used to do that, you know? I think it's important to try things and be like, oh, that didn't work then. And I know it's a bit dangerous to be going into final year and a lot riding on this, and to be like, oh, I may as well try this, you know. But it feels like I have to. So I'm going to work on some small photography ideas, see if they work out, ditch them or not ditch them, we shall see. But I want to get that done quick. Number 4, work faster. Yes, I'm a bit of a slow worker. I tend to be doing a lot of things at once and I work so slowly, and I think I could be churning out a lot more. And I would see people sat by me in my studio last year and they would be very productive. They'd be there for less time, they'd spend less time there, or spend less time doing work in general, but they would get a lot more done. And this might just be because I'm not very focused, but I think basically I need to stop dithering, and if I have an idea, just make it. Not be like, not think myself into a little hole and be like, oh, I can't make it. You know, I think it's very important just to do. And I think that's basically the advice most tutors give, is just do it, because what's the harm exactly, really? Yeah, and also I'm slow, so I need to speed up. Do more research. Yeah, I think that's something that's just a general, that's like saying do more work, you know. It's what it is. But it's kind of like, I think I need to be more willing to accept that I'm going to appropriate on some level, be heavily inspired by a certain artist, because I am a young artist and I don't know if I'm assured enough in my own practice yet to not nick things. And I don't think there's anything wrong with nicking something as long as you're doing something with it. You can use somebody's process, you can use somebody's like general ideas, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's good, especially as I'd be doing stuff with appropriation, and I think as long as you're saying, don't know, there is a fine line obviously between plagiarism and being inspired by someone's work, but I've just got to stay on the right side of that line. Writing is my 6th point. To continue writing. Language has become an important part of my work, but I don't know whether I'm going to end up with a text-based piece this year like I did last year, because I'm just not sure I will. I mean, I could, but I don't know. But I want to, again, solemnly pledge on film that this year I'm going to continue writing and at least use it as good at supporting work documentation. And because of the nature of what I think is going to happen with my work this year, language might end up being very important, so keep writing is another aim. And those were my aims for the year.